Welcome to a new series, where in each episode, we'll take a look at an old and forgotten game that was innovative or otherwise important from a mechanical perspective. The purpose of these videos isn't to cover the history or contents of the games in length, but merely to point their existence and key innovations. First up, we have Dactyl Nightmare, a formative VR title from 1991. There were multiple different VR peripherals and systems developed in the 90s, from the Virtual Boy and its inbred distant relative R-Zone, to the VFX-1 helmet that was compatible with titles like Descent and System Shock. Besides MechWarrior Battletech centers, perhaps the most interesting and earliest of these early VR systems was a line of arcade games called Virtuality by a company called W Industries. Their first series of hardware ran on Amiga 3000 hardware and was compatible with 9 different games. It's hard to find footage of these games online, but one of them, called Dactyl Nightmare, was remade for the Oculus Rift a few years ago and is thus playable. It's hard to tell how close the experience is to the original game. According to the developer, he built the remake from the ground up simply by looking at an old gameplay footage video from YouTube that's less than 2 minutes in length, so it's entirely possible that gravity, movement, hit detection, and other computational values work differently in this version. The game takes place on flat checkerboard levels that are floating in space, which are connected to one another by elevators and staircases.
Bird is hungry.
A pterodactyl patrols the area and occasionally swoops down to snatch players, hence the name of the game. The game plays like a simple first-person shooter, albeit one controlled through a VR podium. The shifting first-person perspective corresponds to your head movements. Whenever you fire a shot, the projectile is weighed down by gravity, so you must shoot at an angle when shooting at farther targets. There are 2 different modes of play, regular deathmatch and a capture the flag mode, which adds axes, shields, and crossbows to the weapon arsenal. Although the gameplay is very rudimentary and unexciting, Dactyl Nightmare is a technical marvel. Despite being released a year earlier than Wolfenstein 3D, it featured fully polygonal graphics, 4 simultaneous players in a first-person shooter, and a virtual reality control scheme to boot.